So that day Margaret, she left Mrs. Flower's house along with that book, and she read that book seriously, and she loved the book. She liked each and every line of the poem, and after that she was the regular visitor of Mrs. Flowers, and both of them, they used to discuss about the authors, the poets. You can say an intellectual atmosphere was created whenever Margaret and Mrs. Flowers used to sit together. And Mrs. Margaret, she used to serve her sometimes tea, beverage, sometimes sort of drinks, and they enjoy their discussion and atmosphere. So after that, whenever Margaret, she used to visit, and thus she was closer to Mrs. Flowers, and she was very much inspired by her teachings or by her suggestions or preachings. So here in the concluding part of the story, Margaret says that she was just mere a young girl, but she was saying that often she visits bookshop to purchase books of good authors, good poets, and the booksellers or the people nearby or the countryside or towns nearby, they came to know about Margaret because Margaret had her own identity. She wants to say through the lines that I am no more only the grandchild of Mrs. Henderson or Bailey's sister. Now I have become Margaret Johnson. I am recognized as Margaret Johnson. That is my identity, and it is only due to Mrs. Flowers, because it is for Mrs. Flowers I am today known as Margaret Johnson. A special identity I do possess. So that is the end of the story, and the concluding two lines, the last two lines she says that this is my achievement, that one day I visited Mrs. Flowers and she recited a poem before me. I enjoyed cookies prepared by her. I enjoyed lemonade prepared by her. That is my greatest achievement in my life. So guys, some lines, those are highlighted here. I am going to read those lines. The students, those who have the book, you can put first bracket. Those who don't have, you hear or listen to me carefully. Some lines, those are highlighted, and the lines which depict Mrs. Flowers' character or which depict some important incidents in the life of Margaret. So here it is mentioned that I am not talking or telling about today's reading. I am telling about the entire story. That means from the beginning, the whole story, the whole chapter I am talking about. So on page 36, some lines are mentioned. That is the dialogue of Mrs. Flowers, what she is saying, or she is advising Margaret that now no one is going to make you talk. Possibly no one can, but bear in mind, keep it in your mind, bear in mind, language is man's way of communicating with his fellow man, and it is language alone which separates him from the lower animals. This much Guys, those who have book, you can put first bracket on page 36, the lower part. Mrs. Flowers, she wants to say that language, it is an important aspect of man's life, because man is known as the supreme creation of God. Only man can speak in various languages, vernacular languages. Whatever the language, that is man's mother tongue. Apart from mother tongue, man can speak in other language also. So that is why Mrs. Flowers says that language is the only way to express your views, because animals, they cannot speak. They don't have language. They cannot speak. But man can speak. So she wants to say that whatever you feel, you speak up. Through your language, you speak up. You express your views, your opinion. It is on page 36. And then let us come to page 37. Here in the lower part, I looked around the room. It is about Margaret. It is humorous phenomena, humorous factor. I looked around the room that I had never in my wildest fantasies imagined I would see. Brown photographs, leered means looking at me as if they are giving me threatening, leered on threatened from the walls, and the white freshly done curtains, that means just recently it has been washed, freshly done curtains pushed against themselves pushed against themselves, that means like this, pushing themselves and against the wind. I wanted to gobble up the room entire and take it to Bailey, who would help me and analyze and enjoy it. Margaret, she was wanting to gobble, that means everything, each and every object, the setup of the drawing room. So in a haste, in a hurry, she was looking here and there, whatever the object, whatever the article or articles, those were placed in the drawing room, so that the same, whatever now she is observing, she can place it before Bailey, and Bailey will humorously, once again, she will present those things before Margaret. They are sisters, and it is a common factor. Sisters are always friendly, and they share lot of humorous things between them. So Margaret, she also wants to say. And here the lines, the last two lines, that is also important part of this chapter. That is the version of Margaret. She says, all I cared about was that she had made tea, cookies for me and read to me from her favorite book. It was enough to prove that she liked me. Margaret wants to say that in my previous lecture, I presented the character of Mrs. Flowers before you, that she was quite reserved and dignified lady in that area, in that town or countryside, you can say. And her dressing sense, it was quite different from others. And Margaret, she has never seen her laughing, only smiling. Whenever she smiled, Margaret noticed that much. But she never laughed before, at least before Margaret. So that is why Margaret, she says that Mrs. Flowers, she liked or she loved Margaret out of the core of her heart. That is why She handed over one of her favorite books to Margaret to read, to go through the book. And later on, Mrs. Flowers herself became the inspiration of Margaret. And as consequence, Margaret today, that means in the story, she has become Margaret Johnson. She has become Margaret Johnson. So, guys, this is the complete story. Very nice and rational story. It is not a supernatural story or any fairy tale or any fantasies are there in the story.